Hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Fine. So, what city or state are you in?
I stay in Port Charlotte, Florida.
Where was that? Port what?
Port Charlotte, Florida.
Port Charlotte. Where's that? East, west?
It's Southwest Florida.
Cool. So, what are you looking for to do? How can I help you?
I'm trying to start my own homeless shelter because I have at my house like a good 30 guys that are homeless, but you couldn't tell that because I've helped these guys overcome a lot of things. Addiction, looking good, bought them clothes from Goodwill, so forth on. They all stay in my guest house, and I have ways for them to make money and so forth on, but it's getting hard to take care of all these guys by myself.
Wow. An aside, is there a way to get them self-sustaining yet by, gigs? I mean, or I don't know how big your city is, but, with things like, TaskRabbit or I don't know if they have cars for deliveries on Uber or something, or Amazon now is hiring they're sort of like the gig economy. Or is there a way to have a service yourself that these people can, you have a lawn service?
I actually do. I'll actually implement all those into making money for these guys.
Oh, really? Oh, great.
I have my own Uber website, which we run about 5 cars. That's all I got. And I let them all run the cars out. I collect most of the money, but I make sure these guys get money from that. And, I cook them 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I give them snacks. You couldn't tell anybody here was homeless.
Wow, that's cool. So you want to become a nonprofit now? Is that it?
Yes, I would really like to, figure out how to become a nonprofit the correct way. Get some grants, something for these guys.
If you go 211, and actually, are you familiar with 211?
Yes, I've called them. They offered no help.
Really, no help at all. Okay, then your elected official, your congressman there.
The mayor.
Yeah, and get a caseworker there. Because what would happen, I would think, the right way, not the easy way, would be to get some of the block grant money. That's what our block grant money goes to. So if you call the congressman and ask him who in your district, it's usually an office at the county level that's getting block grant money, which goes to solve problems like you're solving. And what they do is give it to nonprofits to solve the problem. So the government doesn't do it. They do it in a way, but they fund it to do it, through nonprofits like you. Now, to start a nonprofit, don't get caught up with a lawyer, stuff like that. And I think you could probably do it, just going through the bureaucratic paperwork yourself to do it. It's a little pain in the ass, but so what if you do it wrong? They send it back, and you change what you screwed up. The other thing would sound sort of maybe interesting, may work. You're hip on the internet. How can you do something clever as a crowdfunding campaign? Is there?
I've never had a successful one, actually. I tried GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Tried the crowdfunding. I watched a lot of your videos.
Yeah.
I was thinking about trying angel investors and LBGT, I think it's called.
Yeah.
About giving them a call.
Well, any of those, they're really not interested in helping you as a nonprofit, only if you're making money, but they're fat cats, and they have a heart, so maybe that's where you can get help like that. You're solving a hell of a problem. Otherwise these people will be out doing something else, and it seems that the people on your side would be the elected officials first, because otherwise, if you have, what'd you say, 17 guys you're taking care of?
No, I have 30 guys.
30? Oh my God.
It started with 45, but this year I got them sustainable.
Wow.
To leave my house.
Wow.
But I have a business plan that I can possibly show any investor. I can get these guys rolling and going in like 90 days, really.
Well, it's not investor. Investor wants to know return. Return you're given to society. But I think you're right. How do you piggyback? How do you get people's attention? That's the hard thing. Just putting up a GoFundMe site, yada, yada, yada. What good is that? I'm wondering if because you really have to get expansion, people involved in it somehow. In other words, how do you do something clever to get noticed that solves your problem too? Something like maybe if you work with boys clubs are helping fathers or whatever, helping grown-up men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so each kid, you get 30, 40 kids in there. Each kid has a Facebook list of 500 kids or whatever, 500 families or whatever, that they adopt. Kids adopt parents, adopt grown-ups, kind of thing, sponsor. I wonder if that makes any sense. If you had, let's think through that a little more. If you had kids, you went to a kids club, baseball teams or whatever, they're sponsoring a grown-up. So they go to their network and say, help me sponsor an adult man, who's getting back into society. They need help. But sort of, to me, it's sort of interesting because it's the reverse. You usually see grown-ups sponsoring kids. Mm-hmm. This is kids sponsoring grown-ups. And it's giving power to the kids. And see, to me, what the neatest thing about something like that, it's great publicity, right? It sounds like something, local newspaper, stuff like that would be interested in. I used to be involved with, a homeless shelter in town here called CCNV, the Center for Creative Nonviolence. Mitch Snyder, do you ever hear of him? No, there was a movie done about him. So the history of homeless, he's sort of like the hero of homeless folks. And what I did was, I try to take care of the people taking care of the homeless. That's the problem. If we don't have people like you, God, we're really screwed. Yeah. What we need is people like you, not just give them any homeless. We need people like you more. But going back to, see, just doing a site, whatever, raise money for homeless, how many times have you seen that? But, to catch the attention of somebody, to give, and particularly this time, a year, how can you flip it with kids helping homeless adults come back in society or whatever? So it's something weird. It has to be, it's so hard to fight the media. And that's why Trump does what he does, in my mind. He just says something so fucking outlandish.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what he's saying. He doesn't care. He'll say something else later, before he even follow up. So he doesn't have to worry about telling the truth, But he's clever because that's what I used to do. I used to go on TV and act like a complete maniac. Mainly because I knew that's the way to get a camera. And
I've actually seen you on TV a few times when I was a lot younger than that.
Right, yeah, exactly. So you saw me as a raving maniac, right? And
yeah, I thought you were one.
And that got me on TV show. They didn't care what I said. So all I needed was the airtime to educate people. So
Can I ask you about 3 favors?
Yeah.
Please. Could you do a YouTube video about the free services for Florida? Because I've seen a lot of your
Oh, I
videos.
see. Yeah. Well, yeah.
A lot of these videos are great educational tools for people that need
Oh,
help out here.
absolutely.
211 really just, they want to work on their time. For what I see down here, they work on their time only, and they're lucky if they help you, lucky if they don't.
Yeah.
That's how they act towards you here.
Yeah, wow, that's too bad. Yeah.
My second favorite was what was that website you was telling me about where these kids have like 500 Facebook friends and they can sponsor.
Oh well, I'm telling you, if you go to a it's not a website, it's a like find community young people. Like my wife works with young women here to be politically active. And young lady, 12 years old, they're lobbying for girls' education all over the world and things like that. Now they're lobbying for sugar-free soda, and stuff like that. You get a kid involved in something, and they're powerful. Because nobody could beat them up if they're right. But they'll beat you up or me up. You saw, you know you're right. You know what you're doing is good. And you put a thing on YouTube or GoFundMe, nobody gives a shit, right? But you get a 12-year-old to do that, and to send it to their friends to ask their parents to help. Now that's a different ballgame, At least in my mind, there's no guarantee anything will work. You just have to start trying stuff that's different. What's the third thing before we run out of time?
The third and last thing was. I remember I saw I watch videos like every night down there now for the last week. I remember I saw, you said there's a site, that you can go to that costs $1,400 a month to have. You used to go on this site